Sir, off the property.
I'm not on. This is public. Don't be a punk.
You're a witness to all this?
No, I'm not.
I gotta get you.
I don't answer questions.
Oh, okay, then go.
How about f off?
Oh, okay.
I'm on public, nerd.
Go
I
over
can't
there.
videotape.
Right here.
This is my property. Don't
Right.
touch me.
This is
bitch.
on your property.
Don't touch me.
Back up.
You pushed me in the road.
I'm not gonna tell you
recording.
again.
I can't
Good.
record
I'm
this.
recording too.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, arrest me, huh? Disorderly.
Welcome back to Legal Dissent, where we evaluate your constitutional rights before they're taken away. Thank you so much for joining us, and as always, if you enjoy our content, please do consider subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and interacting with us in the comments below. It really does help a lot in the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you have videos that you would like us to evaluate, send it our way. All of our contact information, along with our Facebook and Twitter accounts, is located in the description below. On April 1st, 2022, the YouTuber Flex Your Freedoms was live streaming an arrest taking place across the street from his home. The police take the man down that was being arrested, and that's when they noticed that Flex Your Freedoms was filming.
He's telling him he has to leave.
Make sure you send that video to my father.
I got it. Just come see me.
Crazy.
Sir, off the property.
I'm not on. This is public. Don't be a punk. You don't know who you're messing with me. Get off the property. It's public, nerd. Yeah, they attacked him, tased him. This wants to talk to me. They have him down on the ground again. They got his feet. It's alright, sick ass fool. This one, we're right in my area.
You're a witness to all this?
No, I'm not.
I gotta get you.
I don't answer questions.
Oh, okay, then go.
How about f off?
Oh, okay.
I'm on public, nerd.
You're on public? Nerd?
Yeah.
What's a public nerd?
I'm calling you a nerd. It's a comma.
Oh, okay.
Nerd.
Pretty cool eyes.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
It's cool pimple you got on your face.
Hey, there's a search warrant being executed on this property. You need to leave the property.
This is public. Don't touch me.
There's
What
a
are you
warrant
doing?
for this property.
Don't touch me.
Go.
Don't touch me. You're gonna push me in the street. Dumb. Name and badge number now.
Lieutenant Gersh, G3716.
You don't know who you're with,
Up.
boy.
Obviously not.
Stupid bitch.
Is that your badge there?
Yeah.
There's a search warrant being executed here, so you don't have the right to be here.
I'm in public. You push me in the street. You dumb. You pushed me there, dumbass.
Go to your house.
No.
Okay.
I know my rights, dumb. You don't know who the I am.
I could care less.
So leave me the alone.
There's a search
I
warrant
can.
being executed.
Why
on
are
this
you
property.
touching
No.
me? What the?
Get
fuck
off
are
the
you
property
doing?
and get out of
What are you doing, you dumb?
Go
I
over
can't
there.
videotape.
Right here.
This is my property. Don't
Right.
touch me,
This is
bitch.
on your property.
Don't touch me.
Back up.
You pushed me in the road.
I'm not gonna
I'm
tell you
recording.
again.
I can't
Good.
record
I'm recording
this.
too.
We
I
all
can
are.
record. Guess what? Live stream, dumb. But
Great.
you don't
Stay
know
over
who the
here.
fuck
Over
I
there.
am.
Stay over there.
Come out in the street.
You want
and
to?
get in jail.
Oh, I'm in the street right now, dumb. What
No
you gonna
shit.
do? Nothing. Coward. I am dumb. That's public, dip. Your investigation's right in there, dumbass. You want to touch me, Lieutenant? Bring it the.
So we have talked a lot in the past about how the First Amendment guarantees your ability to film in public. This is especially true when filming police officers performing their duty in a public environment. This is quintessential public information. The Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals held in the 2010 case Alvarez versus ACLU, which was denied cert by the United States Supreme Court, that audio and audio-visual recording are media of expression. commonly used for the preservation and dissemination of information and ideas, and thus are included within the free speech and free press guarantee of the First and 14th Amendments. Any law that prohibits or regulates speech would undergo a speech forum doctrine analysis, which we have covered in previous videos, and we will be diving deep into that doctrine in an upcoming video. Suffice it to say that the court held that openly recording police officers performing their duties in public places and speaking at a volume audible to bystanders lacks any reasonable expectation of privacy. Flex Your Freedoms is filming officers conducting their duty in a public place. The sidewalk is open to the public, and as long as he is not impeding their investigation, then he is free to film as much as he likes. From my perspective, he's not exceptionally close to cause a reasonable person to believe that he is impeding the officers from doing their jobs, and therefore they are wrong to force him into the street and away from the scene of the arrest. This is, in my opinion again, a violation of his First Amendment right to freedom of speech. If he were significantly closer, on private property, or doing something to actively interfere, that would be a different issue. But at this point, I see absolutely nothing that would suggest he is interfering with their investigation. A few minutes later, Flex Your Freedoms crosses the road and begins filming from the other side for over 15 minutes. Then he begins hurling insults at the lieutenant, who pushed him into the street.
Hey, Lieutenant, I'm gonna have fun with you, buddy. I'm gonna have fun with you, Lieutenant. I'll see you in court, buddy. It's gonna be you dropping the soap. Think you can assault just innocent bystanders that are in public? What do you want?
You can stand out here and talk.
I can talk all I want. First Amendment right.
Okay? You
Oh, I can't swear?
Are you ladies offended by his?
Flex Your Freedoms then launches into a slew of profanity that is reminiscent of someone suffering from Tourette's. On a personal note, I do not condone the word choices he uses. I don't believe it is wise or helpful to use that kind of language in these types of situations. My opinion is that it makes him look foolish and would be less sympathetic to potential jurors. That being said, I will absolutely stand up for his right to say every single word that he uttered, because offensive speech is why freedom of speech is so important. In today's society, we have government agencies actively promoting the creation of a disinformation governance board to combat misinformation. But that is not what we the people are entitled to. The United States Supreme Court held in 1944 in the case of Baumgartner versus United States that one of the prerogatives of American citizenship is the right to criticize public men and measures. And that means not only informed and responsible criticism, but the freedom to speak foolishly and without moderation. The court held decades later in Cohen versus California that you cannot forbid particular words without running a substantial risk of suppressing ideas in the process. Indeed, governments might soon seize upon the censorship of particular words as a convenient guise for banning the expression of unpopular views. Therefore, you cannot criminalize profanity for the sake of it being profanity. Cancel culture is a dangerous idea with dystopian possibilities. The government should not be able to arrest people just because they do not like what someone says. According to the police report, Flex Your Freedoms was standing on the yard in front of the house that the officers had a warrant to search. The officer goes on to state that he knew if they told him to leave, refused, and then had to be escorted off the property by officers for failing to comply, then he was interfering with our official duties. But it was not feasible to arrest him at this time. Later, the officer states that he was constantly berating us in a loud voice and was very vulgar. This went on for quite some time. I saw there was a group of ladies and a small child standing behind him. He continued his tirade of abuse towards us while we stayed on scene, while detectives finished up their search warrant. I then walked to the area where he was standing and asked the ladies standing near where he was spewing vulgarities if his language was offensive to any of them. They said that they were not. The officer then recounts some of the colorful language used by Flex Your Freedoms and then states that he placed him under arrest, advising him it was for disorderly, but it ended up being interference with official acts. This is defined in Iowa Code 719.1, and it essentially states that you cannot knowingly resist or obstruct any law enforcement officer conducting their duty. However, the statute defines the words resist and obstruct to specifically not include verbal harassment unless the verbal harassment is accompanied by a present ability and apparent intention to execute a verbal threat physically. There is no question that Flex Your Freedoms was verbally harassing the officers, but that is protected speech. It does not matter that there were ladies or a small child around. Living in a society that protects speech means that you will be exposed to speech that you don't like. The officer was actually walking away until Flex Your Freedoms called the officer a tyrant and told him to perform a certain act. In my opinion, not only was there no apparent intention to execute what was said, but it wasn't even a threat. Was it petty, childish, and rude? Absolutely. But was it illegal? Not at all. The officer's argument rests solely on if Flex Your Freedoms was on the property being searched or not. From my vantage point, I firmly believe he was on public property the entire time. And unless I'm missing something, then this arrest is unlawful and clearly retaliation for saying something the officer did not like. What do you think? Should profanity be protected speech? Or should people be imprisoned for speaking foolishly and without moderation? Let us know in the comments below. And remember that no matter who you are, you have value and you have rights. Do not be afraid to use them, and we'll see you next time right here on Legal Dissent.